Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of Arizona Real Estate Showcase, along with our TV show, The Lockbox.tv. Hey, I'm your host, Jason Grandon, with the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. And, okay, for those of you that have been listening to the show, and there's about 1,200 of you, I guess, sorry for taking so long to get to the next show. It has been wild. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about, so we're going to jump right into it today. And the title of our show today it's kind of appropriate because we see how the market's changing. And I know many of you are thinking, oh my God, the crash is coming. You're wrong. The market's changing. That part's correct. And we're seeing a stabilization of things going on. But here's the deal. Title of today's show is You're Buying a Home One Way or the Other. It's either the home you own or you're buying it for the landlord. So now it's time to start thinking a little bit differently. Instead of watching your nightly news, listening to these politicians talk about things they have no idea about, or listen to other people talk about things they have no idea about. If your hairdresser is telling you about the real estate market, probably not best to take the advice from them. You're better off calling somebody like the Grandon Group and letting us, kind of fill you in on our stuff. Now, let me preference this. For Arizona, I don't live in New York, Chicago, or anything like that, so I can't tell you about their market. What I can tell you is that Arizona has over 300 people a day moving here. Rents keep rising. There are hardly any rentals available. It's a bidding war for rentals, and the market is still incredible. Yes, we have seen a stabilization in prices, meaning a house that was worth $850 is going to sell for $850, not $1.5 million. All right, so those days are kind of coming to an end. Now, lower end stuff, we're still seeing a bidding war. We just had one a couple weeks ago, 6 offers, all over asking, and it was crazy, and that was in the $350 mark. So, yes, the market is changing. You have to change with it. Interest rates are up there, but I'll tell you the other thing too, and I kind of stand behind this a little bit. Yes, we all want to save money and stuff, but purchase a house now, and then in 2 years, when things change again, refinance it, because we know we'll have another drop in interest rates at some point. And quite honestly, too, if $500 a month is making the difference between owning a home and not owning a home, figure out a way to make it happen, because I'm telling you, throwing it away on rent is not good. It's going to put you farther and farther behind, especially in the kind of world we're getting into. Home ownership is still one of the most important things you can possibly do today. So, you're buying a home one way or the other. It's either going to be the one you own or you're buying it for your landlord. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I'm not knocking renters. As you know, we own instantrenters.com. Renters are great for what they do. So, for example, if you're moving to Scottsdale, Phoenix, Chandler, any one of our beautiful communities, Prescott, northern Arizona, like Flagstaff, Sedona, and you're just moving here and you're not familiar with the area, okay, rent for a few months if you can find a place. Rent for a couple months, but immediately get on that wagon with a realtor and get out there and start trying to buy a place. Get with a lender, get qualified. Do not waste that money on rent. It is not bringing you anywhere. So, there's some great lenders. There's still some great programs out there. And so, yes, we are still historically low as far as interest rates go. So, when we introduce you to a lender, they'll talk to you about what the prices are. But figure $500 to $600 for every $100,000 you spend is what it's gonna cost you right now. And if you have a good agent, you're gonna get a good deal. You're gonna get something you're happy with, and then refinance in a few years. Okay, so let's get to this. Sellers. Yes, it is still a seller's market. Yes, we went from 2,000 homes on the market to, I think there's like 11 or 12 today, 11 or 12,000. That is nowhere near the area where it's turned into a buyer's market. All it's going to take for you sellers, when you're out interviewing an agent, you're going to get the agents all looking for deals. They're going to come to you and they're going to say, oh my God, you live in Fulton Ranch, which is, by the way, an incredible community in Chandler. You live in Fulton Ranch. You're 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot home. Oh yeah, I can get $1 million for that. Okay, let's get realistic. You're not getting $1 million for that house in this market. You just have to have people that are going to be more realistic. Sellers are going to need to be a little more realistic. Price maybe a little bit on the high side and negotiate, but you need that marketing. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to have the marketing. Sellers, hire any agent. You need to interview your agents first. Make sure you interview the Grandon group, but also interview any agent. You have to have proper marketing when you're doing sales on homes, especially with this market adjusting the way it is. It's important to stand above the crowd. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you can't have iPhone photos. It means you have to have a professional photographer come in and do your house. Oh, your house sits on the lake or has great views or a great park in the back. Guess what? Time for that agent to spend some money on some twilight shots. Without a doubt. And I don't care if you're selling a trailer, an outhouse, a mobile home, whatever it is, aerial footage is needed. I can assure anybody, and I'll go heads up against any agent out there, without a doubt, drone footage of your property will generate you $10,000 to $20,000 more. Without a doubt. We have to be able to, when you're selling a house, create the lifestyle. You have to create an image of what people want to see, where they're going to buy. Putting a house up with an iPhone is not going to cut it. You're missing angles, you're missing views, there's just a ton of stuff you're missing. Putting out flyers on regular paper, not cutting it. Absolutely, without a doubt, must be cardstock. Buying social media or having a single property website, without a doubt. And for you agents out there that disagree with me, and I'll get a couple that are going to disagree with me, they're going to say, well, I put a house on the market and I didn't need to do any of that. Good for you. You just cost your client $20,000 or $30,000. Marketing is key. Sellers, whatever you do, make sure your agent markets the house. And putting it on social media and putting it on the MLS is not marketing your house. Okay? So with that said, it's still a seller's market. It's a great time to sell. And if you're considering selling, call up the Grandon group. Let's talk about it. People are moving in by the droves to Arizona. There's new businesses that are moving in here. Plus, we're getting ready to get a new governor. Arizona is going to continue, in my opinion, and I'm pretty confident I'm right on this because I've talked to some guys that are like huge in the business. Arizona is going to continue to grow. You cannot go wrong living here in Arizona. Okay, let's move on to our buyers. Now, you're going to say, oh, Jason, you're contradicting yourself from what you said to the buyers or sellers. Any way you cut it, buyers and sellers agents have to wear two different hats. So as a seller's agent, we know how to market it, we know what the seller's looking for, and we know how to get that out there. Now, you're coming to town, and you're like, okay, I want to buy a house. And this is what we want to do. Okay, well, we have to still make sure you're taken care of. We got to make sure that this is exactly what you want to do. Plus, in our group, the Grandon group, we want to make sure that, well, you know what? We want to make sure you make money. We want to make sure you have a chance to see some equity in this house over the next 3 to 5 years. So we're going to help you find that place, and we're going to negotiate the best deal possible for you, somewhere where you're happy. So you're like, okay, you know what? I don't want to spend more than $4,000 a month. I'm happy with that, and we'll get you a great house. So buyers, keep this in mind. First of all, you have to drive the areas. So if you're moving to town, and let's just say you said, hey, I'm moving from Oregon, and I want to live in Prescott. So my sister is fantastic, and she does a great deal up there in Prescott. So our team is up there as well. But let me tell you something. Prescott is different than Prescott Valley, which is different than Chino, which is different than Cornville, which is different than Sedona, Flagstaff, Williams, Black Canyon City, New River, and Camp Verde. They all have different personalities. So this is where a good agent comes in, where you can come in and you can say, hey, I want to buy a place. Tell me about Prescott. Well, come on down. Let's drive through Prescott and look at different areas, because there's little areas. This goes the same for like Scottsdale, Phoenix, and everything else. Every area has a different personality, and it is very important that as a buyer, you know what those areas are. So, for example, let's say you're a homebody, and you don't want to really be around a lot of people. You like to come in, you pull in the garage, you shut the garage, you go in. So there's some areas that you're going to be happier with than others. Maybe you've got kids and you want an area where there's a park and the kids can run around. You can kick them out of the house and they can do that. Guess what? There's areas for that. Every area has a different personality. So we're not dictating you to certain areas. We're just letting you know that, you know what? If you've got school-age kids, Sun City is not going to be your area. Besides that, it's age-restricted and it's very beautiful. So the buyers, get with an agent, interview your agent as well. It's important that you like the person you're dealing with. Also, keep this in mind, and this is what a lot of agents don't realize. We work for you. What? I am an employee of the buyer. So that means when Mr. Buyer says, hey, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a 4-car garage, that means I'm not going to send him a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a 1-car garage. We find the houses that fit your lifestyle in the areas. Then we'll make a suggestion. So just keep that in mind. It's really important as a buyer to know that you have somebody who's on your side. Also, price. If you're telling me that you only want to spend $400,000 on a house, I'm not going to send you houses that are $800,000. That's ridiculous. And we're not going to try to get a house that's the 50% off. That's the other thing too. Yes, the market is changing, but people, you're not going to get a house for 30, 40, 50% less than the asking price unless the agent just absolutely ridiculously outpriced it. So, buyers and sellers, 2 different hats, both incredible marketing programs, but it's important that you follow that. Finally, renters. I know we sit here and we kind of just like, hey, why are you wasting time renting? Any way you cut it, renting is a waste of time. But we love you, and we know what the purpose is. The rental market is difficult, without a doubt. Use an agent. There are so many scams going on, especially in this kind of market. Stop paying all these ridiculous fees to get your credit run. One time is all you should need to do. Maybe twice at the most, because property management companies like to do their own. Talk to an agent. Get somebody who's working for you. If they're not interested in working for you for a rental, and honestly, there's not a lot of money in it, so that's why a lot of realtors don't do it. With that said, find a realtor. The Grandon Group will help you out, along with instantrenters.com, to help you find that perfect rental. Okay, so I promise you guys I will keep up with these podcasts. They're going to get even more fun. The TV show is becoming a blast. So I would highly recommend you start checking those out, and we'll get the information to you. And the podcasts are going to be coming more frequently, I promise. I know I told you that before, promise. And we'll get those going. Any questions, reach out to the Grandon Group. If you're looking for up north, anything north of Black Canyon City, call my sister Stacey. Her number's below. And then anything else, of course, you can always reach out to me via email or call, and we will get you hooked up. Hey, listen, I really appreciate all you listeners. I appreciate the new listeners coming on. Arizona Real Estate Showcase. We're talking real things about Arizona. We're not going to give you the sugar-coated, guess what, the market just went up 300 points, and we're not into that. We are giving you a straight picture of the lifestyle you want to lead. I love Arizona, and I'm glad you're moving here. And if you're, I want you to have a great experience with a great lifestyle. You will have a great time. And if you're selling, we hope you're staying. But if you're leaving the state, let us know. We'll help you find a great realtor that'll help you navigate through it. I know a lot of people think, real estate's easy, this and that. But when you get this detailed, it becomes tricky. And that's where it comes in for those of you that want things done right. Hey, thanks again for listening to another episode of Arizona Real Estate Showcase. I'm Jason Grandon, your host of the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team, powered by my home group. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks again.